introduce you to an incredible young woman. This is Hannah Jones, and Hannah is coming this fall. She's about to be marrying our youth pastor, Pastor Matt. So she's about to be, have you been practicing writing Hannah Hedden?
I actually have been.
I love it. So are you a pretty good cook?
I'm learning.
I'm learning. I know. That was like my worst part of becoming a wife, was the cooking part. But ladies, we can all take her out for coffee and give her some good recipes and some tricks of the trade to a strong marriage. But you know, the reason, Hannah, you're 22 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
And the reason we asked you to be a part of service this morning was, you know, because of her love and her passion to invest in young people. Even before meeting Matt, I mean, you have just been investing in young people through the years, and then you moved here about a year ago, and she's been serving with Pastor Matt in our youth ministry. My question, why? Why do you volunteer your time? Why do you serve students in our youth ministry?
Well, my passion for youth ministry began a long time ago. My parents had just separated, and we moved to a new city, and I was going to a new church, and the youth pastor there, I hadn't started attending the youth group yet. I was just about to enter into 6th grade, and she just made it possible for me to go to camp. And so I went to summer camp, and I've never been the same. I gave my heart over to God at that summer camp, and I knew instantly that I was called to ministry, and to youth ministry in particular. And so, you know, I went home and I got really involved in my youth group and really excited about what God was doing in my life and in the lives of my friends in my youth ministry. And I started inviting friends to church, and we started seeing all these amazing things happen among our peers. And my senior year of high school, I became an intern in the youth ministry, and then God led me here to Hilltop when He put me and Matt together. And Matt's heart is here for this city, and so we came here to be the youth pastors.
Okay. Well, so then tell me this. I mean, you walk with a lot of different students. I mean, you've got, you know, the most popular kids. You've got more of the quiet ones. You've got the athletes, the scholarly ones, the musicians, the artists, all different kinds. Some that are from private schools, some that are from public schools, some that, you know, come from broken homes, and some that come from solid Christian families. With walking with all different types of students and what they're going through, do you think teenagers in our community and in our church are facing big issues?
Definitely. And I'll just be honest with you, church. The things that we hear weekly are heartbreaking, the issues that they face. Peer pressure, you know, it sounds like such a cliche. We use that so much, but it's real, and it's real among our young people, and they face peer pressure for alcoholism and partying and drug abuse and promiscuity, and they experience depression and anxiety, and they're living in broken homes, and there's turmoil at home, and financial insecurity and identity crisis. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It's just, each week it's something new that we learn that they're facing, but we get to walk with them, you know, that it doesn't just end there with the issues.
Totally.
We get to walk with them and minister to them and help them work through these things.
And even in conversations that you and I have had, I mean, she tells me story after story, you know, testimony after testimony of, even though these kids are walking through and facing these big issues, that God is still moving, that God is moving in these young people's lives, that, you know, we're seeing people come to Christ, we're seeing people, you know, raise up and get forgiveness for things, we're seeing them raise up and start leading on their campuses, we're seeing them lead their friends to Christ, we're seeing them find hope and healing. Tell us some stories of what God's doing here in our own young people.
I mean, I have countless testimonies that I could share with you, and if any of you want to hear more, feel free to come up to me and Matt, and we'll share those testimonies with you. But just some off the top of my head would be when we first started, started to get to know this one young girl who clearly was having a little identity crisis, you know, cared far too much about the way she looked all the time and the way people viewed her. And as we got to know her more, we learned that she had an eating disorder. And since learning that, we've been walking with her and praying with her and spending time with her, and we've seen God deliver her from that. She no longer has an eating disorder. She's been delivered. And another thing that sticks out is I remember our very first night ministering to the youth group, and during worship, I remember a particular group of young boys who weren't engaging in worship. They didn't raise their hands, they weren't singing, they were talking and laughing and looking at their phones. And but as the months have gone on, just recently, I'm reminded of a youth service where during worship, at the beginning of service, before any prompting or prodding of their leaders to come down to the altar or anything like that, they came on their own to the altar and they laid before God and they just entered into his presence. And the ones who weren't at the altar were praying for others or raising their hands or just engaging in worship. And that just speaks volumes to me about what God's doing in our group, that he's leading them into new heights and new depths in their relationship with him, and it's becoming real for them.